Hello, everyone around the world. Yeah, we have a laptop to fix. That's the laptop. It's an HP ProBook 430G2 that came in for repair. This is coming from a regular customer, and what the customer is saying, the laptop is not powering on. But he was using the laptop. All of a sudden, the laptop just got stuck. So this is a no power job. But if I check here, on this side you have a HP big charging port. Next to the charging port we have this LED. You can see this LED. We have a white LED which is meant to be there if the charger is plugged on. But to my surprise, we don't have a charger that is plugged on, and we have an LED here. It's not supposed to be like this. I don't think it's supposed to work like this. So that's what I noticed on this laptop. The second thing that I noticed here, we have the caps lock. You can see we have another white light on the caps lock, but it's not flashing. And thirdly, on the power on button, we have another white light. So this brings some kind of confusion whether this motherboard is on or off. So let's plug the power supply. Plug the power supply. It's taking nothing. Yeah, I can't see any current. Oh, it is some current there, like 6 milliamps. Let's try to power off here. Let's press the power on and see if there's any change of LED. No, it's not responding. It's just stuck there. So here we can take out the battery. Let's take out the battery. The battery is out. Let's plug in the charger. Now it's taking 70. 11 milliamps, and we still have those lights. So this laptop is just stuck. So that is my problem today. That is my problem. I don't know whether I'm going to fix this or not, because this looks like some kind of weird fault. So what I'll try to do, I'll try to get inside this. So what kind of fault is this? Huh? We have all the LEDs too. We have some few screws, other screws that are missing. This is most likely to bring confusion, because I never come across something like that. And to my question, is this the BIOS problem? Let's check out the keyboard. Let's try without the keyboard. 19, 15, 11 milliamps. Pressing the power switch. No, the power on button is not responding. It's not even responding. So how do you start to fix something like this? Because if you have those LED, trust me, you do have 19 and 3.3, but you can test. We can test 2.99, 3.34. The 3.3 is on. What about 19? 19. We do have 19 volts. You can see on the multimeter, the 19 volts is present there on the multimeter. So we have 3.3, we have 19, we have LED. What you can try here, what I like about this motherboard, if you check here, you see here, this is a BIOS chip. So this kind of job we can try with the BIOS. Yeah, we can try to reprogram the BIOS. What you can do, basically we can do nothing. So let's go on a microscope. Microscope. That's the BIOS. Winbond. So they give us access to the BIOS, because I don't think we need to reset because we took out the battery. But where's the BIOS battery? Okay, let's try to work on the BIOS chip. Yeah, the working area is very small, so I'll disturb this plastic a little bit, but that's less important. And the BIOS battery is out. The BIOS chip is out. So the next step, you know, everything's just scattered here. But let's try to see, because this guy is my suspect. This guy is my suspect. So I'm using EZP. I'm using this programmer EZP 2019 plus. So what I would do, I'll go on the desktop. I'll open the program. And I'll try to reprogram this chip. Test the chip. The chip is not detected. Why? Let's try again. Open the program. Disconnect the programmer. I put it back. Let's test. It's now detected. Now let's read what is inside this chip. Reading complete. So what I will do, I'll save this file. That's for the backup desktop. Uh, ProBook 430 G2 bin backup on the desktop. Let's save this. The next step is to erase. We can erase this. I've done so many videos about uh, how you can reprogram a BIOS chip using a EZP 2023 or a 2019 plus BIOS programmer. Erase complete. Now we have erased the chip. We close. We open again. We test. Now let's open. Let's try to come with the new. This is an 8 megabytes bin file. Let's try to come with the new bin file. Now let's write. We are now rewriting this BIOS chip. Write complete. Now we have successfully rewrite this chip. We can close. We can open. We can test. We can read just to verify if the chip is properly rewritten. After that, we will resolder the BIOS chip. If it's not the BIOS, we have a very big problem. Maybe in that case, we need to open up the laptop. We check for water damage. We check for the processor power supply voltage. We check for the GPU. Okay. So now let's go back to the place where the BIOS chip is supposed to be soldered. And this has to be like this. Let's see if I can do this with a soldering iron. Maybe I can do this without what air station. I don't think so. Let me just use what air. Solder the nicely BIOS chip. Now let's see. Let's see. Do you have a working laptop? Do you have a working laptop here? If you don't have a working laptop, For sure, we have a very big problem. Now it's taking 647, 500. What about picture on the screen? And we have picture. That's a BIOS. I told you. This is a BIOS chip problem. We have picture. I told you this must be a corrupt firmware from the BIOS chip. And the laptop is on. It's trying to detect hard drive. Oh. 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 Huh? I never thought this kind of problem to be a BIOS. But I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Some weird lies. Yeah. I knew it. This is a BIOS chip problem. So what else do you want here? This was a classic repair. I never thought it to be a BIOS chip problem. So if we have this kind of problem, now we know we go straight to reprogram the BIOS. Keyboard is plugged in. I just want to test to see if everything is alive here. When we plugged the hard drive, let's plug the battery. Okay. We need to plug the power supply. 500. Enter. Yeah, we reprogram the BIOS. We have to be patient for the motherboard to adjust to changes on the new firmware from the BIOS chip. Escape. Enter. And it's loading Windows. Yeah, it's loading Windows. This is an i5 processor. So the laptop is on. There's user password. The keyboard, I'm sure, is responding. Yeah, the keyboard is responding, but we don't have password, so we'll stop here. We'll stop here. At least you know. At least you know how to quickly diagnose a dead laptop motherboard and fix it. If you have the LED on the power on button, we have the caps lock is not flashing, we have the another LED on the charging or white lights, probably you have a corrupt BIOS. Don't jump into conclusion of checking complicated things. Just try to do the basics. So yeah, the job is done. That was a corrupt firmware from the BIOS chip. and we fixed it. So I'll put all the screws together and I'll give it back to the customer. This has to be a happy client. Yeah, this has to be a happy client. So see you on the next one. Bye bye.